What?
Speaking of weed.
We're recording.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
I just said let's go.
Well, you haven't you didn't do your spiel.
This is a great intro.
Well, because you were going. Speaking of
weed. Speaking of weed,
This
like
episode of Rebel Radio
sometimes I think that whenever stop interrupting me, God damn it, I'm trying to talk.
I'm the voiceover.
Fuck. Jesus. Anyways,
Hey, Seuss. Okay.
Are you done, Matt?
I'm done.
All right. Never mind.
Sorry.
Right. How's that for a cold opening? I'm not even sure what we were even talking about. But
I don't know because I kept getting interrupted.
Sorry. I yield my time to the rest of my time to Long.
Anyways, what I was trying to say is that do you think like when Joe Rogan talks, he's like under the influence of weed and he just talks
Absolutely
based on how much weed he's inhaled?
That's 100. That is 100%
talking
accurate.
out of his ass all the time because of the weed.
Yeah, he's got to smoke with his mouth. He's got to smoke with his mouth, so he's got to talk out of his ass.
And then Neil Young decided to pick a fight with him this week and pull all his music off of Spotify just because Rogan is a anti-vaxxer and all that. It's like, I don't understand. He's like, I'm not going to support Spotify because y'all support Joe Rogan and paid him. What is Joe Rogan's? I'm sure there's like thousands of music artists on Spotify that might agree with one way or the other, but Neil Young just decided to point out Joe Rogan. I'm like, I guess when you're old and your career is at an end, you just need to bring some controversy to the news and get your name in it. I mean, I love Neil Young's music, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, why, Neil Young? You're making lots of money yourself. Mind your own business. You know?
Now he's off Spotify.
I never listened to Neil Young, so I have no.
And he could have deal with Sirius XM instead, but you know, it's like everybody has to feel the need to say things.
Did he sing Hotel California or some shit?
No, that's the Eagles, man.
That's Glenn Fleetley. Glenn Fleetley.
All that mellow rock stuff is all the same.
Glenn Fry, not
Glenn Fry. I'm mixing up the.
I like the Eagles.
Kiss guitarist Ace Fleetley.
And then on top of that, then a Tennessee school board decided to ban the book Moths, which is a tale about the Holocaust. Yes, it's
the whole point is that you know what it's about, right? Have you read it?
Yes, I've never read it, but I know what it's about. And so it's caused the book to jump to the bestsellers list, and Tennessee's not getting a lot of love for that because it has a naked mouse in it.
Oh my God!
That's essentially why they decided to ban it.
The whole point of the book is so that you take the human element out, and you have a different perspective of the Holocaust. Right. That was one of the books I had to read in that graphic novel class, and it was great.
It was heavy.
Great book, yeah.
So people this week are deciding to cause controversy, whether it's a Tennessee school board or Neil Young. I don't know. No controversy on this show except Matt and Long arguing with each other at the beginning of the show because Matt couldn't shut the fuck up, and Long was going to reach across the screen and rip his throat.
Our very own Tom Holland.
But
we should have done the force choke.
This is the Rebel Radio Podcast, and this is Mark.
This is Matt.
I'm here. This is Long. I'm going to retire this. I'm tired of doing these unique intros of mine. I need to.
This is Long, the retired gunfighter.
Well, that's why we brought back the cold intro this year with the 2022 shows. I mean, this is only the third show of the new year, but so to take some pressure off of you, Long. So don't feel pressured for your special intro, okay? No pressure.
Sure.
How was your vacation been, Long? How was your vacation been, Long? You should not be grumpy tonight. You've been on vacation. You should be happy. Fine. You've had plenty of time to hang out, relax, and jerk off.
Did you hear my intro?
I heard. Mark interrupted you this time, so I couldn't hear.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's just interrupting Long today, and they wonder why I'm grumpy.
Jeez.
No, this is Long, the Duck of Death.
The Duck of Death. That sounds like an R.L. Stein book. Goosebumps and the Duck of Death.
Yeah. Just a little foreshadowing on today's
you make it
intro.
sweet. Yeah. What's that? Are those cookies?
Oreo Thins.
Bit. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's funny. I too ate some Oreo Thins today.
Are they better than double stuffed? Oh, it's better for you.
No,
they're Thins. They're like there's way less calories and a lot less saturated fat.
They don't change anything in the recipe, do they?
It's just Thins.
No, it tastes just like an Oreo, just thinner.
Yeah, so, it's kind of funny.
Me and Mom are old, Matt. We have to watch that kind of stuff.
My mom's diabetic.
Your mom's diabetic?
She's super diabetic, or borderline, right? And so a lot of Vietnamese cuisine has a lot of sugar in it, and I tell my mom, you gotta watch what you're putting all the sugar in all your sauces. And then she says, no, it's okay. It gets dissolved while you're cooking. It's like, no, that doesn't work like that, Mom.
It just changes
it doesn't
shape.
work like that.
Caramelizes.
Yeah, it caramelizes and stuff. So anyways, she tries to justify it. It's like, I'm sorry. I mean, that's why being diabetic sucks. You have to give up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Anyways,
moving on.
So good. I'm glad you had a good vacation, long guy. I hope you have some new relief
anywhere.
On life. Shit, there ain't much to do. There's no fucking movies out. I mean, we're in a dry spell again with movies. Nothing comes out till Batman, and Warner Brothers says they're not moving it, which I don't blame them. You know, Spider-Man made a shit fucking ton of money. There's no reason to think Batman's not going to be ripe for the right time to make a lot of money as well. You know, I mean, so why not leave it on the March 4th date and let it come out and see what it does. So, you know, it's just, man, fucking goddamn pandemic just makes things kind of boring, but it's good to stay home too. You know, don't spend any money and you don't risk yourself getting sick or anything. So, you know, as he starts coughing and hacking, like I might be sick. No, shit, I cough all the time. Yeah. But anyway, Matt, you're good over there. Besides fucking along,
had a message from work. Had to tell him, hey, leave me alone.
at 10:00 at night. Oh, I guess because you're truck drivers and shit. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I'm like, fuck.
Hey man, why'd you schedule me at this time, man?
Somebody's messaging me at 10:00 at work. The building better be burning fucking down, and I can sing hallelujah. Shit.
Like what? I get paid to be away from work.
That's right. But let's get into today's show. Let's download this where we tell you what we watched, streamed, or played this week and checked out. And Long, I'm gonna let you go first, man. Vacation. I mean, come on, dude. You had to have watched something this week. I hope you just sit in your ass and play Final Fantasy the entire time.
That's what I did. Damn it!
40 pounds.
Long ain't changing for nobody, Mark. Not for not for nobody.
Actually, I watched the Eternals.
Cool.
I actually liked it. Did you two watch it yet?
I started.
I've been trying to, just haven't had a chance.
Yeah, I started it, and it's where the dude finds out the chick is an Eternal because she destroys a deviant in front of him, and that's it. That's all I watched too. Yeah,
it's a pretty good action movie. It's a beautifully shot movie. It's beautifully shot film. I'll probably give it a B or B minus. The chemistry between Icarus and what's her name? The Asian chick's name.
Yeah, the one that fell in love with the human dude.
Yeah. There's hardly any chemistry between the two.
Yeah.
Right?
Estranged
but anyways,
couple.
Feels kind of forced.
They're like, who's my ex?
The action was good. Of course, they killed I can't spoil. I don't know if you guys are planning on watching it, but if you guys ever get caught up on watching that movie, let me know. We'll talk more about it. But I enjoyed it.
Watching it.
Kind of wavered a little bit in the middle, but other than that, it's all right. Watched Peacemaker. The first episode was kind of slow. Robert Patrick plays a super racist. Oh,
yes.
geez. Yeah.
He does.
He's a very despicable character. I did not like him at all. Now, are you laughing because you think he's funny, or do you think you...
No,
are you
it's
laughing
just...
because he's a cool character?
No, he's very, very racist. Like, I'm on episode 5, and he tells an Asian woman, "Hey, y'all's noodles are pretty nice." You know, it's just, I know he does worse than that, but I'm just like, man, this dude here, you know, wow.
Now, are you laughing because he's saying stuff you wish you want to say, or are you laughing because that's terrible, or is it a little just uncomfortable, like, a nervous laugh?
No, just like the situation. I find, you know, I guess I view it like the comedian. You know, it's all a joke. You know, but he's really good at being a Nazi. I like whenever he's with the other ones, and there's a scene. I don't know if you made it to episode 4 yet.
I've only finished the first episode.
Okay, episode 4.
That action scene in the last scene was pretty damn intense. Though.
Yes. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, it is. It is very good. But yeah,
and he's singing into the vibrator. Cinderella.
Oh boy,
Big Hair Rock.
Yeah, he didn't realize what he was singing into. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, it's just the first episode, but I'll keep watching it for sure.
I'm
see what's going
man.
on. But yeah, let's see what the mystery is going on in the movie. The series.
Yeah.
What else? What else did I watch? Oh, I caught up on Boba Fett. Episode 3 was basically about Fennec meeting Boba Fett and how Boba Fett was talking to the other crime bosses. And that was an okay episode, but man,
that was episode 4.
Week's episode just like it felt more engaging in this episode because it wasn't even a Boba Fett episode; it's a Mandalorian episode.
Really was.
It was basically episode 2.5 or something like that. Right, season 2.5 episode.
Yeah,
and you're just kind of getting caught up with what the Mandalorian, the original Mandalorian, was doing. Din Djarin or whatever his name is.
Din Djarin.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very, very good episode, and I'm like thinking, man, why is this such a better episode compared to the rest of the Boba Fett series? And it's because, well, you understood what's going on. You know, you want to know what the motivation was. You know, It's easy to relate to for some reason, and I love the lore and all that too in this week's episode.
Very
big step up from the rest of the show. This is the best episode of the season. It's not even a Boba Fett episode.
The best episode is The Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah. What did y'all think?
I agree, man. I'm not saying that I haven't enjoyed the Boba Fett season, but this episode was awesome. I mean, it had one of my favorite things in there. They soup up a Naboo starfighter, and they basically make it a big ass V8 with a forced induction engine intake manifold on the front, and he goes for a joyride. And whenever he gets caught, did you used to drive a Razor Crest? And he just takes off. And man, that's just awesome. Going through Beggar's Canyon, flying past a Womp Rat. That was beautiful. What about you, Mark?
It was, I'll do a Frank. I liked it. But it's funny because I started thinking, originally when they announced Boba Fett, it was only 6 episodes. And then as it got closer to the release in December, they're like, oh, it's 7 episodes. And it almost feels like this was that 7th episode where they're like, hey, let's do a pseudo premiere of season 3 in the middle of Boba Fett. You know, that's kind of what it felt like, because there's no Boba Fett in the show, but it's all about the Mandalorian. It's even called Return of the Mandalorian, like Return of the Jedi or something. And but I think the way it felt that way is because it was familiar, and it was something that ending of season 2 was so epic with Luke and everything that you're drawn right back into where he's been since that happened. And it was great to see. It was unexpected because you're thinking, when the episode starts, you're thinking, okay, Mando's the one that's going to go help Fett and Fennec. That's cool. But as the episode goes on, the whole episode is about the Mando and where he's been since season 2, and it was badass. I'm assuming he's probably going to appear in the 6th and 7th episode to help Fett with his problem of becoming Overlord in some way. It is alluded to in this episode that, he's going to stay around to help. So we'll see where these last 2 episodes go. But it is cool. I thought it was interesting that he took the Darksaber to the armor, and that dude challenged him. And there's only 3 Mandos apparently left, and now there's only 2 because he left them. He's like, he got banished from their. It's not a tribe. It's
guild.
The guild, no. I guess. Since he had removed his helmet, they were like, "Nope, you're no longer one of us." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. Okay, bye." So
he's like, "It was hot, damn it! I wanted to take a breath." Come on.
It is interesting trying to gauge their reaction of, okay, who's Bo-Katan to you? Speaking to his clan leader and hearing her perspective. And Bo-Katan was calling Mando's clan extremists.
Right.
So
yeah.
So it was cool though. It was, and I'm like Matt said, I haven't disliked Boba Fett. I felt like I feel like it could move a little faster. It shouldn't have taken. Yeah, it shouldn't have taken 4 episodes to connect the dots of where Boba had been between Return of the Jedi and the Mandalorian show. And it just felt like they kind of dragged that stuff out. And I really did like episode 2 quite a bit, though, where he's with the Tuskens and they're fighting the train and all that. I thought that was really cool. But it just feels like 4 episodes of story could have been told in just a couple episodes. So it feels a little bit of a drag. And I think the Mando episode helped speed it up a little bit. And hopefully it comes strong with the last 2 episodes and it concludes very well, leading into Mando season 3 and the eventual Obi-Wan series. A lot of rumor we might be getting the Obi-Wan trailer Super Bowl Sunday, so we'll see. Seems like a prime time to premiere it, because that'll be the season finale of Boba Fett will air that Wednesday before, so it would seem prime time once one show ends. Let's hype up the next one, So yeah, but Boba Fett, man. I mean, it's cool. It's good stuff. Anything else long you watched?
No. That's about it.
Well,
I didn't watch any movies or I caught up on some anime, but yeah, that's still yet to be continued. I still got the rest of the weekend.
There you go. I feel like I never go in the middle, so I'll go in the middle today. Pretty much I watched Boba Fett like you guys. I finished the first 3 seasons of Yellowstone. That's a really good show. I know it's connected to our show, but especially with the movie we're doing today, because it is a neo-Western, and man, it's really well written. So I've kind of been on a Tyler Sheridan kick, because he created Yellowstone and wrote it, and I watched his movie he directed in 2017, starring Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. It was weird. I don't think I'd ever seen Elizabeth Olsen in a non-Marvel movie. But it's called Wind River, and it's on Netflix. Man, this is a really good murder mystery movie. Intense, really well written. I highly recommend watching it with a really kick-ass shootout towards the end of the film.
Is it a neo-Western too?
Yeah, it's a neo-Western too. And Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner is excellent in it, guys. I mean, this is a guy who's we've gotten to know as playing Hawkeye the last 10 years, but he's really good in this movie, like really good. I was shocked. And a lot of the same actors that are in Yellowstone are in the movie, because I guess Sheridan uses some of the same actors in a lot of his projects. And but it's really well done. I highly recommend checking that out on Netflix. I even think Jackie would enjoy it, Matt. It's a good mystery thriller. You know,
she likes mystery thrillers.
If y'all want to watch a movie one night on Netflix, I watched that, and then and because season 4 of Yellowstone is not on Peacock yet since it just ended, I went ahead and watched the first episode of the prequel, 1883, and it's really good too. Yeah, it has Sam Elliott in it, and I've always loved anything Sam Elliott's in. He's really good in the show, and it's only one episode. It's kind of a slow burn, the first episode, but it's really well written. That guy Sheridan is, we did Hell or High Water a few weeks ago, and he wrote the first Sicario film, which was pretty good. He's definitely a talent in Hollywood to watch right now with the success of Yellowstone, some of the other stuff he's done. So, I think that's about all I watched this week, really. Just that movie and finished the 3 seasons of Yellowstone. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of just with Long. I just did the 2 series, the HBO Max series Peacemaker, and got caught up on Boba Fett. Peacemaker, I like it more than I thought I was. I was kind of like you, Mark. That was going to be a dumb kind of John Cena kind of thing, but I like it. They, the way they kind of explore his background, and just how they interact as a team. It's kind of like a watered down Deadpool, like not too much. Deadpool, I think maybe tries really, really hard to be funny all the time, maybe. And Peacemaker, I think at times it pretty good.
I think some of it too is not so much that I don't want to give it a chance. I think I started realizing the other day, I'm kind of little disappointed and burnt out with the DCU. It's like, Michael one day was watching the Snyder Cut. He was watching the Snyder Cut, and I just I'm a little pissed off that Warner Brothers screwed it all up. And now I know they're trying to salvage it with this Flashpoint movie and everything else, but it's just like, I think I'm just like, I don't know how much more I want to give to them, if that makes sense. I'm still going to go see Batman, and I'll see The Flash, of course. Fuck yeah, Michael Keaton's in. I'm definitely seeing The Flash. But it's just like, I think I'm just like, I'm pissed, your
heart has been hurt.
I'm pissed at what we could have gotten. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know if I want to give the time to Peacemaker to a universe that's never really going to exist properly, because Warner Brothers.
You're Tom Cruise, and you're singing. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss.
I ain't singing fucking shit. I'm just pissed off.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's what it is.
Maybe
eventually I'll get around to watching it. If I can get past John Cena's
my ears
butt
just
for
bled.
2 minutes. Yeah, I know. I thought a cat was fucking dying in the room.
Yeah, a low baritone cat. Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me though, man. But before, I could do it in the news, but your singing remind me, man. Props off to Meatloaf, man. May he rest in peace. Man,
rip.
That dude could belt it out. So, anything else, Matt? Just Peacemaker, like Long.
Peacemaker and Boba Fett.
There we go. All right. Well, that's good, man. Let's get into today's.
You know what? It's kind of funny. I that first episode of Peacemaker is actually more enjoyable than a lot of the episodes of Boba Fett. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, this is actually more engaging than Boba Fett.
But is it more badass than
Tamara Morrison?
Yes, someone gets ripped in half. A gorilla gets sawed in half by a chainsaw.
Than Danny Trejo as a fucking Rancor keeper? I don't think so. Okay.
It has tits.
Sorry, Mark. One cameo is not going to save a whole series, Mark.
It's still Machete. All right.
If he killed someone's on
copium.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly,
someone's on the copium.
You mentioned Tamara Morrison. I hate to say this, but that's part of it, man. He's not a real good actor, guys. He's just not. He was serviceable.
I thought he was more engaging than Aquaman. Aquaman.
He played a good father figure, but he's okay. He's I think that's part of it too. My brother-in-law even mentioned that. He's like, yeah, some of it's just Tamara Morrison's just not a very good actor. It's like, yeah, he's okay, But oh well, it is what it is, I guess. Let's get into today's feature film.
Bad writing.
Huh?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Or it could be bad writing.
Yeah. Maybe. So, but one thing I will say before we get into today's featured film is I really would love to see Bryce Dallas Howard direct a Star Wars film. And I know the internet's been blazing today saying fans are asking Lucasfilm to let her do a movie, but I thought that even before. Even her episodes she did Mandalorian last year, and now this episode, man, I'd love to see her make a Star Wars film and follow in her dad's footsteps. I think that'd be fantastic. She's definitely got an eye for Star Wars. So
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. You said, I'd like to see Bryce Dallas Howard, and I'm like, what's he about to say? Bryce Dallas Howard
direct an episode, a Star Wars film. I mean,
yeah.
What, man? Everything has to be perverted, Matt. Jeez.
Yeah, Matt always has to make it weird.
Let's get into today's featured film then. That's not perverted. In fact, it's dark and somewhat depressing and quite the opposite of perverted. Though. And that is Clint Eastwood's 1992 masterpiece that he directed and won Best Picture and Best Director for. And Gene Hackman won Best Supporting Actor for this film. It is Unforgiven. Yeah, this is a movie that I was a latecomer to. I came out when I was in high school, and I remember kind of hearing about it, and it won Best Picture. And I don't think I saw it till. This is something Matt may not remember, but back then, Matt, man, like in the 90s, even in the early 90s, you had to wait a while to rent a movie. Like, it could come out in theaters, but you might not be able to rent it till like a year later. I know Long remembers that. Matt, you may not because you were younger.
I don't remember.
So I want to say I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to say I saw this like a year after it came out. I remember my dad rented it and I watched it with him. And back then, it's one of those movies I don't think I appreciated as much the first time I watched it. I liked it because it was a cool Western, but I didn't quite understand all the darker undertones of an old, of an old gunfighter and dealing with his past and his present and coming to terms that he's always going to be that person he was, no matter what. And now as I've watched it over the years, I've appreciated it a lot more and I see the brilliance in it. And it's not a happy film. It's quite dark and quite, it's not necessarily a sad film either. It's just, it tells a very dark tale, basically. That's my initial thoughts on Unforgiven.
Yeah. Good. So a couple morals that it has going through the film, but I guess we'll get to that towards the end.
Hey, that's a pretty sorry looking wagon you got there.
You should paint it.
Bub. I don't know. Every time I think about Clint Eastwood, I think about that paint your wagon.
Paint your wagon. That's a man. Peak Simpsons, man. Peak Simpsons.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I was actually watching that movie yesterday. Unforgiven, that is.
Yeah.
And paint your wagon. You had a double feature, didn't you? But great movie. Did you summarize it already?
Let's summarize it, baby. After a hooker is cut up.
I introduced it and gave my initial thoughts. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Don't look at me. I'm not summarizing. I did mine.
Let's do it, baby. When a hooker's cut up, they pay $1,000. That is U.S. dollars to get the two cowboys that fucked them up taken out. And this little man called Scarborough Kid.
Collect the money.
The hookers collect the money. They put it together. And the Schofield Kid, Scarborough Kid, goes up to Kansas and
reminds me of Matt for some reason.
Can't see shit. I could see that canteen. No,
full of hot air.
Full of hot air.
His character.
But yeah, so he comes up and he meets William Munny, and same William Munny that is running from his past and trying to raise his kids after his wife is 6 foot under, and she taught him a different way of life, but Will agrees to help Schofield Kid. I think he has a different name, but the Schofield Kid stuck, even though it's bigger than what he actually is in the film. He's written way over his head, can't see shit in front of himself, but he can see 50 yards apparently. So Will, Clint Eastwood's character, agrees to go and collect on this bounty and help him take out these cowboys. But he wants to pick up his friend Ned, played by Morgan Freeman. Ned's a good shot. He can shoot a hawk at 100, 150 yards with a Spencer lever-action rifle. And they eventually find these guys after they get some freebies, quote unquote, from the whores, as they say. Their words, not mine. I wouldn't call them that. I'm a chivalrous man of good nature.
You're skipping a major plot in this movie, though, with your summary.
Oh, yeah,
the reason the whole reason the town,
Big Whiskey.
the women put the bounty out on the town of Big Whiskey is because you have this sheriff played brilliantly by Gene Hackman, Little Bill, who he doesn't allow firearms in his town, which wasn't uncommon in the late 1800s for that to happen. But his ways of enforcing it are he beats the shit out of people for no reason to set example, and everyone just stands around and watches. And he feels that these cowboys didn't do anything that bad, and he lets them off with a whipping or something, and that's it. And so that's why the women are so
Tells
upset.
them to bring him ponies.
Didn't even give him a whipping.
Yeah.
He ended up not even giving women. He was going to give him whipping, then he didn't. Yeah, he just wanted to bring him ponies. So that's why the women were so upset, because they felt they weren't
Gene
defended.
Hackman is a horrible carpenter. Horrible carpenter. Let's just say that. But almost forgot. I probably would have worked my way around that, but I did forget it. That's a big hole. It's like a Pasadena pothole, as we say down here.
It's more important than the Schofield kid not being able to see.
It's true. It is very true. So they eventually find these guys after running into Gene Hackman, and he kicks Clint Eastwood's character's ass. And he was sick though. You know, Clint Eastwood probably could have done something, but he had the fever. He gets out of there, and they hold up in a little shed, not too far from where the cowboys are staying working, and they're guarded up. But on their way back to their shack, they take out one. They hunt. Morgan Freeman's like, I can't do this. You know, I can't kill a man. So they say, hey, head south. We'll meet up with you. While they're taking out the other cowboy, Ned is captured, beaten to hell by Little Bill, and killed. When Will finds out about this, he rides into town. Schofield kid is kind of traumatized after shooting the other cowboy and says, "This ain't for me." One of the themes in the movie is it's not easy to kill a man. You can't, just because you say you are a certain way, doesn't mean you are. And you can't run from your past, which is what Clint Eastwood's character realizes, William Munny, and he goes in there, and as soon as Bill's having this meeting, we're going to find those fuckers in the morning, and we're going to ride up, shoot them up, and then he pops in there with a loaded Coach shotgun.
Well, important part of the theme Matt's summaries. Why did we let him summarize long? Is like he
I didn't want to do it.
Throughout his years of being a gunfighter, he was quite a drinker too, and he dealt with a lot of the pain and the killing by staying drunk, and so he's sober and he's not sure how to deal with this. But after Ned dies, he's like, "Fuck that!" and he kind of returns to his old way, and he downs a bottle of whiskey before going in there to take out Little Bill, and he goes in there to take out Little Bill with no mercy. He goes there and he fucks him up, and
he kills the whore's handler, and Bill's like, "You killed an unarmed man? He should have armed himself."
Dude, there is awesome. as dark as this movie is, and not just dark thematically, but like they really need to remaster it. I have it on Blu-ray and it's on HBO Max, and it says it's in 4K, but it's dark as shit. They really need to remaster the film. There's an underlying humor throughout the film too, like Ned and William kind of making like almost old people jokes, like, "Oh yeah, well I dropped the damn thing" or whatever, and it plays into their friendship by making these jokes, and then so there is a kind of a humor throughout the movie, which is kind of weird because the movies, but then there's a really extreme violence every time Little Bill's on screen, because Hackman is, you hate him in this movie so much.
Let's backtrack. My fault. We didn't talk about the great Richard Harris as English Bob.
Oh, yeah.
And the dialogue, he's like, I thought you were dead. Hell, I thought I was dead too. Turns out I was just in Nebraska. I'm like, that's freaking hilarious. Man, I like this evil Gene Hackman Western character. I don't know if I like this character more or the his part as the mayor of the town in Quick of the Dead. But he.
Well, I don't know if you can necessarily like him. I don't know if you can like him, but I think you can appreciate his performance. That's a better way to put it.
Appreciate his performance. Yeah, that's better said.
If you like him, then you're a bit narcissistic and twisted.
Yeah. I just like him in certain parts. I'm just like, that's a funny line, but you're evil. But man, he takes all of those guys out in the lick of a second. He's like, yeah, I'm William Munny, killed women and children about anything that crawls, and I'm here to kill you.
And that's a sorry-looking wagon, too.
Yeah. Then he tells him his wagon's sorry-looking. He's going to paint it with his blood.
Yeah.
But no, and then he rides out in the sunset, says, if any of you shoots, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your wife, your kids, burn your house down. I'm just like, man, this is a bad motherfucker right here, man. And then even the last standing marshal wouldn't do anything. He's like, you shoot him. And he's like, no, I'm not shooting him. You shoot him. And then he rides off to be back with his kids. And apparently there's a monologue at the end. He moves to California and prospers in dry goods.
Well, yeah, they the opening narration, the end narration, they wanted it to feel like you're reading an old book. It was done on purpose, to give it a feel of a novel unfolding, because that's what was a major influence. And man, this movie, it's well acted across the board. Eastwood is fantastic in it. Gene Hackman, of course, won supporting actor for it, and you hate him throughout the film. It's one of the great villainous performances of all time. In fact, I think we did a top 5 villains one time, and Long had him on his list, if I remember correctly. I mean, just he's that good in this movie.
Yeah,
and that's a great villain performance, that you hate him so much that you find yourself wanting him to get what he deserves, and that's what a good villain should do. Whether it's Hackman in this film or Michael Shannon in The Shape of Water, it's just some of those great villainous performances where you just, when the guy gets it at the end, you almost find yourself cheering for a character's death because you're like, God damn, he finally got what he deserved. And in this movie,
but the thing about Hackman's character is that you understood his principles, and you could even relate to it, because it's like, well, if I was in his shoes, yeah, I understand, right? I mean,
beat the shit out of people for no reason.
But
he's making
you
statement.
Understood where he's coming from.
You ain't going to step in his town. Yeah,
he's trying to step. Stop interrupting me, Matt.
I'm sorry.
God,
stop yelling. Jeez,
you stop interrupting. Anyways, I've already lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say how great of points that Long makes. He's a great co-host. We love him. Don't kill me, Long. You're awesome. I'm not as awesome, but I'll pretend to be.
Okay, Matt. It's all good. Just stop interrupting me.
Sorry.
So, he won a Best Supporting Actor in this role. So, yeah, for an Oscar. Well deserved.
This film, I know, Mark, you don't talk about box office a lot, but this film made tenfold of its budget. I mean, $14.4 million estimated, made $159 million worldwide. Wow. It made $15 million its first weekend domestically at the box office. So super, super prosperous. It was peak 90s Western, I believe. As far as like box offices for Westerns, it started to fall. And then in the 2000s, we got 3:10 to Yuma. It went back up again. Not at the same height as Unforgiven. But, some people argue that this is like the last like great Western film. Would you say that?
Well, Tombstone came out the next year, so
Yeah. Is it better than Tombstone?
It won Best Picture, but I personally like Tombstone better.
Yeah.
I like this film too, but I'd rather if I'm going to reach at the player and put something in, I'm going to watch Tombstone 9 out of 10 times over this.
Historical
Dances
fiction.
with Wolves is good too.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't Dances with Wolves come out in the same decade?
I think it won won Best Picture in the 1990. Yeah, it's a couple years before this. So yeah. Well, the Western genre at this point, Unforgiven. One thing I will say, Unforgiven is responsible for kind of giving some new life into the Western genre, because at this point, you had Dance with Wolves in 1990, you had Unforgiven. Eastwood had not done a Western since 83 or 84's High Plains Drifter, or Pale Rider was one of the last ones he did. So Unforgiven did bring it back to the forefront, which gave the studio hope in doing Tombstone, and then of course Wyatt Earp came out a couple years later with Kevin Costner, and so I think Unforgiven is definitely credited with that, showing that the Western could still be profitable and win awards. And and it's a genre that was way overdone in the 50s and 60s. There's thousands of Western films made, and so it started to die out with the wake of Jaws and Star Wars, and the big blockbuster films kind of started killing off the Western. But there's still a market for it, and Unforgiven showed that. And even now, 20 years later, 30 years later, we still get one or two Westerns in theaters every year. They still come out. So they're just not as big as they used to be, but they are still made. You've had Appaloosa and what's some other recent Westerns, the remake of Magnificent Seven. So there are things. And now the neo-Western has become very popular, with movies like Hell or High Water and Breaking Bad, and television series like Breaking Bad and Yellowstone that are kind of neo-Westerns. So it's definitely a genre that still has its fans. I love the Western. It's one of my favorite genres of film. I really like watching them a lot. And Unforgiven's a great Western. It's like I said, it's a bit darker, very heavy themes in it. Like you said, dealing with the ideals of killing a man and changing your ways of who you once were and who you've become, and returning to those ways to do the right thing. And once his friend Ned was killed, William knew, like, nope, this isn't happening. And he knew the only way he could go kill Little Bill and those men was to turn back to who he was, even though it probably pained him to do so. But he realized at that point he had seen a new life with his kids, and he knew he could turn back to that new life even after finishing this job. So it's some heavy stuff he deals with.
Yeah. Siskel and Ebert said that they were underwhelmed with the gunfight between Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman, that they wanted a showdown style kind of thing with them more at the forefront, and not what they got. They still enjoyed the film. They didn't necessarily, hype it up, think it was, great, but they enjoyed it. What do you think? You think it lacked a better gunfight?
I like the way it ends.
Little Bill?
I mean, Little Bill didn't show any mercy. Why should William Munny go right in there and kill the motherfucker? Not going to give him a chance to have a showdown with me.
It was all foreshadowed. It was all foreshadowed in the jail scene between English Bob, the writer, and Little Bill.
Good point.
It's such a crucial scene. Siskel and Ebert said that was I can't say that word for some reason. Unnecessary scene. Yeah. They actually said that it was an unnecessary scene to them, but man, rewatching it, it's like, no, it's not. It foreshadows the ending pretty well in a very subtle way. But yeah, in that jail scene, it's like Bill Munny was talking about. You have to have a cool head, and that's the key to winning a gunfight. It's not being the fastest draw. You have to really make your decision in a very calm manner.
Yeah.
And that was all displayed in the final ending.
Yeah, because they're trying to shoot him and they keep missing. They're like trying to draw really quick. They're frantically pulling out their peacemakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the accuracy. They mentioned the .32 caliber that English Bill has. That was a very common cartridge in that era. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. A lot of people think this is Eastwood's best film, and I know it won the awards and it's considered a modern masterpiece, and maybe it is his best film critically and stuff, but I don't know if it's my favorite Eastwood Western. Yeah, I really am a big fan of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which we covered last year. That whole trilogy I like quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's done so many good ones. I mean, High Plains Drifter is great. The Outlaw Josie Wells is great. It's hard to pick one. But man, I really like The Good, and the Bad, and the Ugly just because of Lee Van Cleef and his name's escaping me.
The guy from the previous film.
No. That's Lee Van Cleef. No, fucking Rocky Balboa.
Sylvester Stallone?
No, not Rocky Balboa. No. The guy who plays the Ugly. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Why is his name escaping me?
Damn.
I just like the chemistry
Eli
between
Wallach.
those. Eli Wallach.
Eli
That's
Wallach.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said. I was thinking Burgess Meredith.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking Burgess Meredith. But Eli Wallach. Yeah, I like the chemistry between those three guys in The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. So but this is still a great film too. I mean, and if I had to rank this, it's easily an A+. I mean, Unforgiven's fantastic as well, even if a bit darker thematically and stuff.
A+. And the second film of a gunfighter who cannot escape his past that we've done this year. Yeah,
I give it an A+ for sure. It's a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. That it
Good
is.
pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little just over 2 hours, but it moves very well. It's a good movie. There's not a moment in this movie that's not important to the film. Like you said, Siskel and Ebert felt that scene should have not have been in the movie. That makes absolutely no sense to me at all. Every moment of this film was important, and Eastwood did a hell of a good job.
I think I lost you, Mark. What did you say the last
you blinked out. I was just saying that it was well. No, I didn't say anything about Lee Van Cleef. I said that the movie was well paced and it moves well, and every scene is important in the film. So
yeah.
So, but yeah. Cool. So it's time, I think, to play our new game that we introduced last week, our new segment for this year, as we brought back a mini version of our short-lived debate podcast, Duel of the Nerds. I gotta think of a little fancy jingle song to plug into the podcast here when we introduced Duel of the Nerds. And last week, it was quite the showdown between Matt and Long as we faced off the new Star Trek crew versus the old Star Trek crew. And Long came out victorious and was the winner for week 1, so he gets to keep playing this week. And this week, Matt was the loser, so he gets to host this week and do the countdown on his phone. We each get 3 minutes to give our reasons why our person, character, movie, or whatever it is should win, and then we both get a minute rebuttal. And so, Matt, what does the winner win?
Lunch.
We hadn't decided that at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Whoever gets
Shouldn't the winner be the one that picks a topic and bows out, or I don't know.
He rides off into the sunset.
Look, man, I made this up on the fly. Right now, the person who's the host that week got to pick. Okay, you be quiet, man. You got a good. You got
the
your
movie
favorite
Gladiator,
thing this week.
We're making this up as we go. The ending's going to be great, but we're making it up as we go. So
Matt,
for this
introduce
week,
your topic.
The topics have been set. It is Mark with Optimus Prime versus Long with Godzilla. Each contestant will have 3 minutes to make their case and a 1-minute rebuttal. Last week, Long went last with his argument. So this week he will go first, giving Mark.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's the winner anyway, so he gets to go first.
Yeah, giving Mark the second. So Long.
Okay.
When you are ready, I will hit start as soon as you start making your argument.
All right, here we go. Godzilla versus Optimus Prime. Godzilla steps on Optimus Prime and wins.
Whatever.
And if not, he blows him up with atomic breath. If that doesn't work, well, I mean, he has near indestructible, pretty much indestructibility. So what can Optimus Prime throw at Godzilla? So, yeah. Are we talking about, like, I didn't quite understand what you meant by Godzilla versus Optimus Prime. Are we talking about popularity? We
It's
talking about like
open.
one-on-one fight,
It's
or
open. You can bring in anything into this. You can say, Godzilla brings his theme song singers in and they cheer him on, and that's why he's going to win.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, all right. So yeah, physically, he'll win in a fight, and as far as pop cultural impact, I mean, 65 years at least being part of the pop culture lexicon, and 23 movie. I'm sorry, not 23, but 31 movies versus just 4 or 5 Transformers movies. But I can say that I do concede that the Transformers movies have made more money than all the Godzilla movies combined. So somehow, uh, but yeah, other than that, yeah, Godzilla, giant 400-foot atomic breath lizard.
You still have a minute and 20 seconds.
I don't have to go through a whole
Okay.
3 minutes, do I?
You don't have
There
to.
we go.
That's your
Yeah.
argument.
Godzilla steps on Optimus in the debate. I should have just ended there with one sentence, but no. But there you go.
All right.
That's my position. Godzilla wins. Yeah.
Mark, whenever you start making your argument, I will start.
Well, damn it. All right. Matt didn't specify which version of Optimus Prime. So I'm going with Power Master Optimus Prime with a little nebula inside him, which makes him much stronger than normal Optimus Prime. All right. And he's smaller. He can be quicker. He can get under Godzilla's little feet and stab Godzilla with his little axe he gets on his hand and make Godzilla's little feet hurt where he falls over and chokes on his own fucking atomic breath. And then Optimus can run inside Godzilla's mouth and slice him up from the inside. Because Optimus is a bad dude. You see how he took out Sentinel Prime at the end of Dark of the Moon? It was awesome. No hand cut off. Optimus was like, fuck you. He gets up and he just destroys Sentinel Prime. Okay? So Optimus, it will do whatever it takes to protect humans too, because that is what he always does. So he will go all out in a battle with Godzilla. All right? And now you want to talk popularity? Okay, 50 years? Okay, yeah, what? Like, most of those movies sucked, all right? Yeah, I went there, man. All right? They're man in a suit. They're not very good. And Transformers, okay, only 2 movies were good. The animated one and the first Transformers live-action movie. And well, Bumblebee was pretty good. And Optimus appears in that, so it counts, all right? So they had 3 good movies out of their 6 movies, so their percentages are better. Okay, 50%. Where Godzilla, it's like 10% good movies, all right? So, I can see Law getting furious. Like, you're saying the Godzilla movies suck. Hey, this is all in fun for debate. And so, I like the Godzilla movies too. But, and Godzilla gets killed by Megatron, but then he comes back to life and saves him. And not only that, the most important thing of all is Optimus has the touch. Okay? He's got the touch. And the Matrix of Leadership to defeat Unicron and save the whole universe. Okay? He has the touch, and that makes him kick Godzilla's ass. The touch. Bring back your 1 minute, man. What do you got to say? Are you there, Mark?
Yeah. Sorry, Mark, but you were. What was that? Your signal was being.
That last 10 seconds, your signal was. So I'll give you 3.
Well, I didn't really say much the last 10. I didn't say much the last 10 seconds. I was like, I just said,
you're being energoned.
Yeah.
with your signal
all right.
feed.
1 minute rebuttal long?
Yeah, I guess. Well, Godzilla's indestructible, and even if Optimus was able to get inside Godzilla, he has like pretty much regenerative healing powers. So that is null and void as far as your argument, sir. No. As far as movies sucking, well, even if just a quarter of Godzilla movies were good, it's still better than all of the good Transformers movies combined. So, anyway, at least all the plots make sense. compared to some of the Michael Bay movies.
Do they?
All of the movie plots were straightforward. Yeah, they are. I mean, even the movie titles are the plot. Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. You can't get around that title. It's the plot of the whole movie in the title. But anyways, yeah, Godzilla destroys city, gives me that dopamine hit, and that's all I could ask for.
Well, you know what? I know how to win Matt's heart here, okay, since he gets the final vote. And Megan Fox, okay, she's in Transformers, and she mixes it up with Optimus Prime, so that alone, is worth the price of admission. And not only that, how do we know Energon's not nuclear? Maybe Optimus goes inside Godzilla, just uses the Energon, the Matrix, and goes nuclear and sacrifices himself. Bam, he kills Godzilla and himself at the same time, says, fuck it, I saved the human race. Because that's something Optimus Prime would do because he's noble. Godzilla has no nobility. He just destroys things because he's an asshole. Okay? And then Mothra comes around and he puts spits comment out on him, a fucking webcam or whatever, and fought Godzilla in that movie we watched. It was weird, man. What was that all about? Okay? So, and that's all I got. I'm done. I'm laughing too hard over here. No, I started laughing when I said webcam. I don't know.
All right.
The picks are in. I'm going to hype this up a bit. I won't just go ahead and say who I feel won. I was disappointed, Mark. You didn't bring in the Touch or the Autobots. He's got a big army.
I did say the Touch.
You did say the Touch?
I did
Maybe
say
it was when you were
Touch.
breaking up. Oh, yes. Okay. I think it was when you were breaking up.
I said Optimus has the Touch, man.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, man. You've got the touch. You've got the touch. It's okay.
But he doesn't have the power.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the power.
Man, this feels like whenever we did this debate a long time ago, and I had Hulk and Frank had Wolverine, and I was just like, he's the fucking Hulk. He wins. And I was like, that's it. It was tough, but I feel like Mark's argument of Optimus getting inside Godzilla and sacrificing himself using Energon is plausible. Godzilla was defeated by a machine at one point, like a fighter jet. Man, I wish Long, you had so much more.
Why did I give you all those Godzilla movies for reference? Damn it! My fan enthusiasm has. I feel like you're like, I've got the bigger guy. I'm going to win, man. I feel that's how you went in. And I'm not saying you were wrong, but you had so much that you didn't bring in the music or the themes, or he had Mothra as a sidekick. Well, you gave a pretty broad topic, so I had to give a pretty broad.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you
were going by the movies too. I did like that. But what stuck with me was the argument that Optimus would ultimately make the sacrifice and use Energon and possibly his spark and make something happen inside Godzilla. Not that he would die, but I think he would be defeated at that point. I guess I give it to Optimus just slightly. I know you're going to be pissed, Long. I thought Long was going to win. I felt like I fucked up giving you this topic,
when
Mark.
you picked the topics, I was like, man, it's a layup. Long's going to kick my ass. But you know what? I thought about it. I did my research, and I was going to come strong with it, and I made most of that shit up on the fly anyway.
You brought up battles with a bigger Transformer than him. You brought up his Optimus's spirit, which I think helped a lot. But before you did that, Long was winning. I was like, oh, Long's got this. But Optimus.
Well, that means Prime. Long, you get to pick next week's topic then and be the host next week, because I'll battle it out with Matt. So.
Oh, okay. I got a good one. But I'll let the two of you decide which side you want to take.
Oh, Mark can pick it. Mark can pick his side.
I've already picked it.
Yeah.
I've already picked it in my mind.
Well, that will be next week's show. No, save it.
Save now or
save
it.
Sleep on it.
Let us know.
You might think of something different. Yeah. We don't want you to blow your load
And we
all in
want people
one
to come
episode.
back next week to
Yeah.
to hear this is.
So are we debating every week?
Yeah, don't unload
I mean,
right
that's
now.
that's what a new weekly segment is. It's you do it every week.
Yeah,
It's fun, man. So far, two good ones so far.
yeah,
Little
that was fun,
competition-
man.
Little competition between bros is good,
Yeah.
So. All right, well, let's do a little bit of news before we preview next week's film. Not a whole lot of news. This live action He-Man is apparently still in the works, and now it's moved to Netflix. And some dude named Kyle Allen, who I have no idea who it is going to play He-Man. Just it's time to give up on this. If this isn't going to be, I'm sorry. I think He-Man is such a big property, just like Transformers that we just debated, or Godzilla, or any of these other big IPs, that if you're not going to do He-Man right with a world-class director and a world-class leading man to play He-Man, then don't fucking do it at all. That's just my personal feelings on it, If you're not going to have Hemsworth, if Jason Momoa or Chris Hemsworth or somebody like that's not going to play He-Man with a big-time director, then just don't do it, because otherwise you're not gonna do it service, and I think we can all agree on that, with such a big IP as He-Man, so
I
really
agree, man. He needs to be done right,
Yeah, I mean, He-Man is a big character. You need to go with a big actor and a big director and do it properly. Right now, I would be okay with that, honestly, Long, because right now, fantasy IPs are popular, man. Lord of the Rings is coming back with a show. Game of Thrones is not that old. People love it. The Witcher, stuff like that. It's He-Man is prime for a huge live action film right now. So if you're going to do it, fucking do it. But they're just going to probably ruin it, and it's not going to be good, and it's unfortunate. But so we'll see.
Yeah.
New Line Cinema greenlit Mortal Kombat 2. So I didn't love that first one, but I didn't hate it. Did you guys ever get around to watching it? You saw it, man. Huh?
I watched it. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay.
It's okay. The ending is great. The beginning is great. The middle is like,
yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. So it's like, but it did well enough between the box office and streaming that they're going to do a sequel. So I'm all for it if they bring Joe Taslim back, man. He's badass. I'm cool for that. Have him come back.
Are they still rumoring Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Cage?
I don't know. I
think he can do it.
Yeah, let him do Deadpool. He doesn't need to do.
Yeah,
he's too old.
He is getting old. And
other than that, Hasbro renews their license this week to continue to make Star Wars figures, Marvel figures, and they're going to bring Indiana Jones figures out next year when the new movie comes out, which I'm kind of excited about that. I would love to have some nice Black Series Indiana Jones figures. I think that'd be cool. So, not that anyone expected them not to renew their contract with Lucasfilm and Disney and Marvel, but they did. So it's a weak news week if I'm telling you that Hasbro renewed their license. But I'm a collector, so I think it's important.
What about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Zeus? He says he's going to be Zeus, and he shared a picture of him as Zeus, and he said, "Zeus 2022."
Zeus in what?
Strike it down. Zeus.
Like just a Zeus
God.
movie? Like why?
You didn't see it?
No. Why are they going to make a movie about Zeus?
Maybe, I don't know.
Like
maybe it's not even a real character.
It's not even a real character.
It just says Zeus.
I don't know.
Look it up. Look, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I thought he was going to make. I thought he was going to try to make King Conan, but nobody wants King Conan, so
Yeah. So. See, Arnold Schwarzenegger teases mystery project Zeus as son Joseph Baena calls him God of the Sky, which we already knew that Arnold was a god of the sky. Let's see.
I guess
that's him as Zeus. Zeus.
Right. Clash of the Titans.
Maybe.
Clash of the Titans.
That would be cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, well, let's preview next week's film before we get out of here. Another really good film with another great actor in it that like Gene Hackman, is the great Sean Connery's in this film. A movie that man we've been throwing around doing for a while, and that is The Hunt for Red October.
The most brilliant commander in the Soviet Navy.
Ramey has trained most of their officer corps. He's nearly a legend in the submarine community.
The most deadly submarine ever built.
This thing could park a couple of hundred warheads off Washington. Nobody'd know a thing about it until it was all over.
And once more, we play our dangerous game with our old adversaries, the American Navy.
His plan is a mystery.
A man with your responsibilities reading about the end of the world.
Apparently, he has suffered a kind of nervous breakdown in which he announced his intention to fire his missiles on the United States.
You want us to help you hunt him down, kill him?
Open the outer doors, firing point procedures. We sail into history.
I'm gonna blow him right to Mars.
Ramius might be trying to defect.
You're just an analyst. What can you possibly know what goes on in his mind?
I'll give you 3 days to prove your theory correct.
I am not field personnel. I am only an analyst.
You're perfect.
I'm expendable.
He's defecting. You willing to bet your life on that?
From the best-selling novel by Tom Clancy. From the director of Die Hard.
Give this man a chance.
My orders are specific. Battle stations.
Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, James Earl Jones, Scott Glenn, Sam Neill. The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, this is it's a good movie, man. I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm looking forward to watching it again. I actually had picked this up on Blu-ray because we had talked about doing it, and I never watched the Blu-ray, so now it gives me a reason to watch it in nice high definition. So I will have a reason to watch my Blu-ray this week and talk this movie. So, and Matt will do his Sean Connery voice, I'm sure. I'm sure Long's looking forward to that.
There'll be a lot of Sean Connery voice is next week.
God help us. But that's all for today. The Hunt for Red October, next week's show. What? I don't know. Matt's being weird.
Yeah.
You know. But that's all for this week's show, man. A lot of fun bringing you the new segment, Duel of the Nerds. Hope you guys are enjoying that. And go to the rebelradiopodcast.com for all your needs, and continue to be safe out there. And we will. This is the Rebel Radio Podcast. This has been Mark.
This has been Matt.
This is Long, the Duck of Death.
And until next time, remember, as always, just go there and do it.